You know, we like to think, I believe especially people with inferiority complex, feel like they're not one of the cool kids, not one of the popular ones. They like to think that other people, what they're doing is right, and they're the problem. I'm the problem in what other people are doing. They're right, and I'm wrong. There's something that I just don't get, some reason why I'm not good enough. And there's been plenty of times when I felt like that. I think we all feel like that at times. We feel inferior. And we just take that and just let the devil just take it and run with it. The devil being whether or not you believe in the real devil with horns or whatever, but the negative, the bad dog, whatever, they take that and they run with it. Your negative part of your body. A friend of mine told me this morning, he said, when you're asleep, you forget all the good things you do and remember the bad emotions that you felt. That could be a survival mechanism, I'm not sure. But, we tend to think that we're inferior sometimes and that everything that we do is wrong. And everything that other people do is right. And, that could be true to a degree. If we're not getting the results that we want, well, we could be doing something wrong, and we should always claim responsibility for it. It's my fault. But at the same time, we shouldn't think ourselves lower value for that. We should always try to do what's right, treat others with dignity, and treat ourselves with dignity, maybe even more importantly. Because if we don't treat ourselves with dignity, then we have a way of taking that out on other people and flooding ourselves with negative emotion. But another point that I'd like to make is that there actually are bad people out there. And we can even become those people if we do not love ourselves enough. There is a such thing as a healthy amount of narcissism. And I hate using that word, but loving yourself enough to not feel negative emotion like you need to take it out on somebody else. But there are people out there who do have those negative emotions built up inside of them, and they will wreck your life. So you got to have a lot of discernment, a lot of wisdom in order to deal with those people, which comes mainly through life experience. But you got to really pay attention what you see, the way people behave. And you got to remember that nobody else is better than you. Now, they may be more successful than you in a certain area which you would like to achieve. But you have a unique gift to share with the world that nobody else does. There is nobody who is exactly like you. And you can either use that as a strength or a weakness. But if you channel it in the right direction, it can be a strength. But you have to look out for people that will wreck your life. And a lot of people get in involved with these certain types of people, thinking that they can change them, thinking that they can help them. And that in and of itself maybe is not a bad problem, but it could be. Because what will happen is you will allow that person to start dragging at you. So you have to limit your amount of time and energy that you spend with these people. You have to divide it up. You have to meter it out. Because if you don't, everybody knows a person who's drowning will always pull you down with them. So you have to be really careful about how much time you spend with them and how much mental bandwidth you allow them to live inside your mind, about letting them live rent-free in your mind. You have to be very careful about that. Because you only have a certain amount of mental bandwidth, and you have to use it wisely. You have to be a good steward of the resources that the universe has allotted to you. The resources that God's given you, if you will. And so we have a tendency a lot of times to let toxic people, and I hate saying toxic people, just people who have toxic tendencies, we have a bad habit as humans of giving them too much of real estate in our mind. So we should make sure that our personal self-worth is firm and strongly rooted before we even let those types of people inside our mind, inside us, until we give them any thought. Because you cannot help somebody if you don't know how to swim yourself. You can't be a lifeguard if you don't know how to swim. So you've got to be careful of that.